Welcome to another edition of Game Music Appreciation Theater. And on this edition, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, brought to us by Konami, who of course also did the Castlevania series as well as the Metal Gear series. Now this game has a lot of hate thrown towards it, and even though it's not the best licensed game on the NES, it's definitely not as horrible, I think, as some of the people would like you to think it is. Sure, it has its hard parts, like the dam for example, as well as some questionable enemy respawning, but overall the game's enjoyable. And as a kid, if you grew up in the late 80s and early 90s and loved the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it didn't matter even if the game was absolutely horrible. You wanted to play TMNT on your NES. The good news is, even though the game may not be the greatest, the soundtrack actually is pretty good, and there's actually 3 composers, and I apologize for probably butchering these names, but Christian Hatlade, Michael Sakrika, and Ivan Allen. Now we're going to listen to my 5 favorite songs, and we're going to start with the song from the sewers. Our next song in the soundtrack of TMNT is the song from Inside of Buildings. Our next selection in the soundtrack of TMNT is the song from the dam. Our fourth song in the soundtrack of TMNT is the song from the last level. Our final song in the soundtrack of TMNT is the song you hear when you first turn on the game. It's the introduction stream. In the eyes of TMNT fans, this game may have been a disappointment, especially with how good the arcade game, Manhattan Project, and the SNES game Turtles in Time were. But it didn't matter. This was our first opportunity to play as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and if you were a fan like I was, you wanted to play it no matter how bad the game was. Thank you for watching this retrospective of the soundtrack of TMNT for the NES, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.